Good morning, our viewers. My name is Martin Lubega. This morning we are having Miss Meryce Mutyaba, former principal, Mengo School of Nursing and Midwifery. She's a nurse educator, she's a nurse tutor. She has been part of the growth of the nursing profession in Uganda. She has greatly contributed basically in nursing education, and today she's going to be telling her story. We welcome you to join us as she tells her story. You're welcome, Mrs. Mutyaba.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, viewers. I feel humbled to have this opportunity to talk to you about my journey. I'm Mrs. Meryce Mutyaba. I'm Nakato as well.
Wow, didn't know you were a twin.
Because I'm a twin.
Didn't know you were a twin.
Yes, we were twins, though my twin sister passed on in 2013 December.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yes, and she was also a nurse. So, 71 years ago, we were born at Mengo.
71 years ago. You don't look 71.
We were born in Mengo.
You don't look 71 years.
Yes.
She says she's 71 years, but honestly, when you look at her, she doesn't look 71 years.
Yes, and we were born at Mengo Hospital.
From Mengo Hospital, and she has been working in Mengo Hospital.
Ward. And my parents worked, were around this hill at Namirembe. They worked for missionaries who were serving in this place. Some doctors like Dr. Billington, some sisters who were working in Mengo Hospital. And he worked with different people and around Mengo. So we stayed around Mengo. So for me, I knew a lot about these doctors, the nurses, the sisters in Mengo Hospital. And they used to be very, very, very kind to us because we were twins. So we enjoyed our, when we were children, we enjoyed because we attracted very many people and they loved us. And my father and mother, they worked very hard. They were Christians, and my father served faithfully. And because he served faithfully, when one of the doctors called Dr. Stones died, he left a will for us to study.
Wow.
So we were sponsored by him in our primary and secondary education.
What was your primary school?
My primary school was Mengo Primary. We first started in Namirembe Primary School, which is now called Namirembe Infant School. Then when we reached P5, all of us were shifted to Mengo Primary School. So I completed Mengo Primary School and we went to Old Kampala together with my twin sister, Babidi Edith. And we did our S1 to S4. Now, by that time, our parents were staying at Lunguja. That's where we have our land. So when we did our O-level, we made our choices. And for me, they told us to make choices for A-level and also for tertiary institutions. And for me, I had no other choice other than doing registered nursing. At that time, they used to select 3 groups, one in May, one in August, one in Feb. For us, we reported for our training on the 6th of August, 1972. So because we were very identical, they separated us. I started with a nursing course and my sister with midwifery. registered midwifery. Because
that was done in...
They thought we would confuse them, make mistakes, and we deny. So they said, no, one would be a nurse, one would be a midwife. So, but we started together on the same day, and we were very happy because we never left each other. So the nursing course was for 3 years. The midwifery course was for 2 years. And it was the pioneer group, the first registered midwifery course
in Mulago.
But registered nursing had already been there.
So Babide was among the first midwives,
among the first
locally
midwives.
trained midwives.
Yes.
At registered level.
At registered level.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. One, it is very unbelievable to believe that you have 71 years. Yes. How are you doing it?
It's by God's grace.
It's really unbelievable. I couldn't imagine your 71 years.
I can't deny.
So our listeners, you may want to think about it. 71 years, but she looks like she's 50. So how you've told us about your childhood. You've spent most of your time at the hill where we are seated today.
Yes.
Our viewers, we are in Namilembe, and she's a born of Namilembe, born of Mengo, studies from Mulago. We can conclusively say you're a city born.
Yes.
How did you safeguard yourself from the vices that take up young people that are town dwellers, city borns?
No.
Drugs.
I think our parents loved us very much, and they brought us very well. And it is God who kept us, I can say. It's God who kept us. And because whenever we would leave home, we would go straight to school, and from school back home, like that. And we always expected to find mommy there. So even at O level, we were in day schools from S1 up to S4. Until when we left home to go for, that was the first time to leave home and go to a boarding school at Mulago School of Nursing.
Okay.
Yes.
So what were your interesting moments, at least one moment that you remember while in Mulago at that time? Did you ever escape?
How to do what?
Escape from school.
No, I've never escaped. I've never escaped from school. But the one moment I think I enjoyed, first of all, I enjoyed my studies at Mulago. And I was always looking forward to learning something new and enjoying my studies. And I enjoyed the company of our fellow students. And I found that I had many friends. Maybe what I can remember that I can never forget. It was on 3rd November 1974. That's the day I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Wow, that's great.
And I can tell this, that day, I used to enjoy going to church for fellowship meeting, because there were fellowship meetings. And people used to think that we were already saved, we were not. And then one day, one student called Esther Muchala requested me to go to Makerere. There was a crusade. So we went there, we listened as they preached. That message made me commit my life to the Lord. Maybe, I don't know whether we have enough time, but what happened, the preacher who was preaching that day said you must follow one way. Either you follow Jesus Christ or leave him completely and then go as the world wants. And then they gave an illustration that there were some soldiers who were marching every morning, marching. And then there was a small boy who enjoyed marching and would come and join these soldiers while marching. Then one morning, an inspector came and found these people marching. And then he saw this small boy. Then he asked, but you're marching so well. Are you one of them? The boy knew that even if he was marching well, he was not a soldier. So the boy got embarrassed and he took off. At that moment, I felt as if they were talking about me.
You.
I used to go to church, to attend fellowship meetings, read my Bible and pray, but I never accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So that day I said, no, today I must commit myself.
And you become a soldier.
And become a soldier.
The army
and accept
of the Lord.
And accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So it is that moment when I gave my life to the Lord, and I've been walking with the Lord, reading the Bible every day, praying, repenting of my sins, and then telling others about the goodness of the Lord, and also attending fellowship meetings. And at one time we were told that those are Christian survival skills.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So you are done with your registered nursing from Malago.
Yes, please.
How did you move into your next academic journey?
So I completed. By that time, we did our exams in November 1975, and 1975 December, before the week of Christmas, the results came out, and I had passed very well. Then immediately they posted us. So my first posting was Masaka Hospital.
Masaka Regional
Referral Hospital. So I joined Masaka Hospital as a registered nurse, newly qualified, in 1976, January.
That was unique, because today people finish school and have to take
for
a lot
us
of
immediate.
time
And in fact, that day we reported to Masaka. In the morning, we had been invited to the school to be oriented by public service. And for us, we had not yet been even interviewed. And then we went for lunch in the hostel. And then they told us, people going to Masaka and Imbara, the vehicles are ready for you to take you.
So you were not interviewed by public service?
So they told me, okay, those now will first interview in the afternoon at 2, those going to Masaka and Imbara. So we rushed the interview, and then we went, put a few things, because they had sent a lorry, as if we had many things. I had nothing almost. And then the other 2. So we had a lorry for our luggage and a staff car, a small car. So we reported to Masaka, and I don't know whether you want.
1974, 1976, that was January. Which government?
It was Amin's government.
Amin's government?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I started during Amin's regime. So we reported to Masaka Hospital. It was a good experience. The medical superintendent, the metro, they received me very warmly. And they gave me a good orientation. There was a dormitory. We called it General Happiness. That's where they put us with some more nurses who had qualified from Arua, Sorot and other schools. So we were there for some time until when I got a house in Mutuba Gardens, and we shared it with one of the sisters who was teaching in the school. For me, I was deployed to work in a surgical ward. It was a data side, and I was made to be in charge of that ward, Ward 6.
So straight from school, you land into an administrative, literally managerial position.
Yes. By
How
that
did
time,
you find it?
The good, I don't know, but God really helped me. I think I was just lucky that people received me very well, and because I had had a good experience in Malago, I didn't find a problem to be in charge, and the staffs were there. They were very hardworking, and they were working together as a team. In fact, I enjoyed working, and I loved working on the patients when they would come when they were bad off, and after I would see them well and being discharged, I would be the happiest. I enjoyed bedside nursing.
So for how long did you work in Masaka?
In Masaka now, I worked for 2 years, 76 and 77. Then in January, I was taken to the nurses training school to teach. It was a directive from Ministry of Health that I should go and teach.
Why you specifically?
Maybe because, I don't know, but you know, I was very interested in teaching students on the wards. So when I would tell them, let's do our work assigned, and then afternoons, let's sit and discuss on a particular condition, either intestinal obstruction or prostatectomy or structures like that. Maybe from there, I think they
noticed.
So, yes. And in fact, after spending 1 year, they told me to go to the school. But there is a reason I gave. I said, no, I don't want to go there. I still want to do what? To work on the wards. But again, that time came, this is a directive from the ministry that please go to the school. Oh, I missed because, you know, we were working as a team, even with the clean side, surgical side. And I felt I was missing because
the hospital.
I loved my profession, first of all. I loved my profession. And I know I was very much interested in patients. But then I went to the school and my first subject to teach was anatomy and physiology. And I taught it.
And how did you find the classroom?
The classroom, the students were not very many.
Not like nowadays.
Nowadays. And I just enjoyed. I loved students. I think I loved students naturally. I loved students and I very much wanted to see that they learn what I know. So I really felt I had to teach and I understand anatomy and physiology. But while I was there, in September, I got a call from the matron by then. He said, Sister Nakato, because I was a twin, please, can you pack up your things? You are going to report to the Ministry of Health tomorrow. You are going to Libya. But there's an exchange program. So you are going to Libya with some nurses from other hospitals. So from our hospital, they picked 2 of us, myself and a certain staff was retiring. So we were 2. So we reported 2 in Tebe the following day, which was a Friday. They made our passport that very day. They gave them to us. And then I came home to Runguja. I told my parents about it, and then on a Sunday, you had to travel. We left. Can you imagine? They told us on a Thursday.
On a Thursday,
Sunday,
Friday you have the passport, you have the visas.
Saturday to prepare,
and then Sunday you're flying.
In fact, I left my things in Masaka, only my suitcase. The one I came with.
So what were you going for in Libya?
Now in Libya they were doing what? They were saying that it was an exchange program. There are some teachers we went with, some teachers, secondary schools, and some engineers, and with the nurses. But when we got there, I think that teachers and the engineers weren't properly looked after. And they said, no, for us, we want to go. I think within 2 months or what, they came back. But for us, the nurses, we were given a hostel, which was even very near the hospital. So we worked for 1 year and 3 months. And for us, now what happened, that when we went to Libya, some were left in Tripoli, the main capital.
The capital.
And then for us, we were taken to Benghazi, which was just another town, 1,000 kilometers away. And we were deployed in the children's hospital. And what was very interesting in that hospital, it was the nurses who had to deal with the children.
Which language were you using?
We were using English, of course, because we were working mainly with Pakistan nurses. Those from Libya, most of them were like maids. So we were lucky that we had Pakistanis who knew English, and they were the ones who we were working with. And we were working on those children, and the parents would come only 1 hour between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. to
The
find
rest
out
of the
how
time, it was the nurse on the
nurses
student,
doing each
on the
and
child.
everything, feeding, cleaning, giving them treatment, doing what, everything was on us. And we worked in shifts, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m.
Eight
to
hours.
8 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
8 hours.
Yes. In fact, when we were there, President Amin was overthrown. And when he was overthrown, people, I think at first they wanted us to stay for 6 months. They didn't want to tamper with bringing us back. They just left us to continue until when Mr. Paulo Mwanga, he was one of the big people, politician here in Uganda, came to negotiate with the president that I think by now it is okay.
They can come back.
Our nurses can come back. So we left in 79 December.
So the initial plan was you to go to Libya for 6 months.
Yes.
But when there was turmoil here,
they couldn't.
The Libyan government decided to leave you there for some time.
Because they
almost
didn't
1 more year.
I mean, they were not sure of how the situation was. And in fact, even for us, we were not getting any communication from Uganda. All those months, I think from April, I think to October.
Mrs. Mutyaba, she's telling us her story, her life journey, her professional journey, and she's sharing her experiences with us. I am sure who is watching, you're learning a lot from her experiences. Being a city born, then beginning her initial work, almost 200 kilometers away from the capital city, but she went there and she diligently worked. Then from there, she moves to Libya, and that's where we are resuming from. So you're back to Uganda. You find government overthrown. Did you go back to Masaka, where you were assigned to another place?
I had requested for a transfer to Bulago.
You wanted to come back to the city?
Yes, the chief nursing officer by then said, I cannot transfer you except if you get married or you come to study. But as long as you are still like that, go back to Masaka. So I went back to the school.
With a mission to marry?
No, no. Go
so
back and
you settle back in Masaka nursing school?
Yes.
Huh? How long?
No, it was 1980 Feb when I went back. So I taught in the school, even I added on medicine. And then in May 1981, May 23rd, 1981, that's when I got married to Mr. Mutyaba Stephen.
Did you find Mr. Mutyaba in Masaka? Did he find you in Masaka?
No. He was here in Kampala, but we met at the fellowship meetings.
While you were a nursing student?
No. When we had come from Libya, but we met, and I think some people suggested for him that
this is the best person to take.
But later
so you marry, that is, you finished school in 76? 75?
Yes.
You begin work in 76, then 81.
I got married.
Those are around how many years?
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years. Yes. Wow. Okay. So, what is your advice for the young girls there in regards to choosing a partner, getting married? Because recently, last year, you celebrated an anniversary.
No, it was 2021 when we celebrated 40 years.
40 years in marriage. So, what has your experience been there, and what advice do you give the young nurses? We have very many that end up with the wrong people. We've had very many end up as single mothers. We have recently had a story of one of our colleagues that was killed by the partner. So, as a senior nurse, as a mother, as someone who has been in that institution for 43 years,
yes.
What advice do you give a young nurse out there?
For me, what I can say, I think everyone should accept Christ as Lord and Savior and love God with all her heart, with all her soul, and then the neighbors, and then continue trusting God and asking God to help, to do the right choices, to make right choices, and to be careful, to be very observant, because people come pretending to be good when they are not. And I think the best places like fellowship meetings, churches, people who you see ever, like in choirs and what, sometimes that's where people get their friends they are going to march with, because it is bad just to pick on anybody. You may be a Christian, but then you land on someone who is not interested at all in God, and it is very difficult to match. So, but I want to thank God that for us, I had accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, and also my husband had accepted Christ as Lord and Savior. So we have been together, reading God's word together, praying, ask for forgiveness, going for fellowship meetings together, church together, and try to see that God helps us. It is not easy because you stay with someone you were not born with and have his background and all that. The way you were all brought up is different. So it really needs God to help you to read God's word and understand it and meditate on it. Because in the Bible, that's where answers are.
True. So, only that we had crossed to this side of the family now,
Yes.
I want us to go back to our Masaka. So you meet Mr. Mutyaba while you were still in Masaka.
In Masaka.
And for him, it was here in Kampala.
In Kampala.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you handle the distance relationship? Because it's also very common nowadays.
Yeah. And you know, it was because I think we didn't stay for long, because we would come, I would come maybe when there's a fellowship meeting, and then of course for us, our issues, we walk in light, and sometimes other Christians are mediators. So already some Christians had already talked to him about me. That one time it happened as a coincidence. I had gone to Entebbe to visit a certain couple, friend of ours, whose wife we had been together in Libya. When I was there, by coincidence, he also entered
the house.
And you know, people laughed because at first I didn't know, but he was the one. And then after we talked, then he brought me to Kampala. He gave me a lift. I told him where I was stopping. Then from there we started interacting. He took me to
Did you
their
have
place.
phones?
We didn't have phones.
So how were you interacting? Letters?
How were we? In fact, how were we? I don't even remember what. But we met. And then we didn't take long because he was serious. He wanted to wed. So afterwards, he made arrangements for me to see his people, and his people, he saw my people, you know. Afterwards, introduction.
As all that is happening, you're still in Masaka, a staff of Masaka Nursing School.
Yes.
So when do you leave Masaka?
Masaka, I just left it when I was just remaining with a week to wed.
Wow. What
And we were
happened?
dead.
What did you do? Did you influence the transfer? Did you resign?
I reported immediately, and even we gave the card, I think, to the chief nursing officer by then.
Because she had given you a task that I can only bring you back to Kampala when you're going to.
Yes. So he knew.
When you're going for marriage.
Yes.
So the moment you notified her that you had found someone, you're going to wed.
I just went back
to pick your things,
hand over
and pick your things
and pick my things that had remained there.
So you come to Kampala. What was your first work station?
I was deployed to work as a clinical instructor.
Where?
In Mulago Hospital.
Now you go back to Mulago Hospital now,
yes,
not the nursing school.
Now I'm a staff
but
in Mulago Hospital, but attached to the school.
Okay.
And I was following up students on the wards, teaching them from the wards. We had pilot wards, which were equipped with instruments and everything, and we would prepare if there was an examination. we would prepare everything on the ward because all the equipment were there. And I was the one in charge of it to prepare the students doing the exams on the patients.
Because those days we are doing OSCEs.
No, hospital had not started. Hospital started in 2000, I think, 6.
You are doing examinations on the patient. You are not doing in the practicum room. Yes.
No. They could do some in the skills lab, but that time they were doing from the wards, giving an injection to a patient.
Okay.
Doing whatever, bathing a patient, all that.
So you stay in Mulago for how many years as a clinical instructor?
I worked there as a clinical instructor from June 1981 to June 1984 because that's when I joined midwifery.
You crossed now.
I crossed to midwifery.
You started, you went back to school.
Yes, because that time we were doubling. When you were a nurse, you would go for midwifery.
Was it a must?
Not a must, but of course you felt you were missing something. So I had to do my midwifery.
Okay.
So I joined midwifery 1980.
So now you become a student in the same school where you were an instructor.
Where I was an instructor. Yes.
So how do you find the midwifery? That is now 3 years. You're going for 2 years.
1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Yes.
Not 3.
No.
Okay.
Because this was an extension.
Okay. So it would only be for 1.5 years.
1.5 years. Those who had been nurses. But if you were not a nurse, I mean, direct from school.
Those are 2 years. 2 years. Well, so from after you graduate as a midwife, now a nurse midwife, what was your first placement? Now,
when I finished, they deployed me to work on domiciliary midwifery services at Mulago. So I was working on the diploma midwives. You know, when we would go together to the labor ward, they deliver. After that,
follow up on the mothers.
Follow up on the mother at their homes, marking their cases, listening to them, giving health education talks in antenatal. Yes. And
Then from Mulago, I'm tracing how you joined Mengo.
I'm coming. Now, hello. So in 1988, I think it was like May, I felt I just wanted to have a break, unpaid leave, just 1 year unpaid leave, and just try to do my own things and see
be a wife.
How life moves on.
You took an unpaid leave just to be home and
look after the children, and I had 2. No, I had 3.
Because you married in 81 May.
Yes.
Then you're asking for leave in 84. Those are like 88. Those are like 6-7 years.
Yes.
So roughly 2-3 children.
3 children.
3.
Yes.
And you took leave.
Yeah, so I thought maybe let me just take leave and see what happens next. But I never even had the leave. That day when I would have started the following day, my leave, someone came who we had worked with in Mulago as clinical instructors. She came and said, Meryce, help me. I've been working in a certain clinic called a Nago Project Clinic, and I've been given a job in Bank of Uganda to work there as a nurse in their clinic. I request you kindly to stand in for me because there's nobody I can, and they want me to start the following day.
So you went in as a dangerous substitute, as she figures out someone to take over.
I never had my unpaid leave, so I worked there. It was a clinic.
A private clinic?
No, it was a clinic which was under a Nago project, which was renovating Sheraton Hotel. You know, at first it was Apollo Hotel. Now they were renovating it. So we had plumbers, electricians.
And you are the nurse.
And a nurse in the clinic with certain Yugoslavian doctor. So worked together until one time, until when he left, I remained in the clinic alone. So I worked there. Then the contract was for 1 year, and then I stopped. By that time, I waited to deliver, and there my fourth born. And then my husband was going to study abroad. And he said, you have got very young children. We are staying at Namirembe. We were staying at Namirembe here, where the bishop stays. Bishop now, Bishop Ubanja. By then it was Bishop Kauma. And he said, but we are staying at Namirembe. Why? And even the sisters in Mengo, they are saying, no, why don't you work in Mengo? Yeah, just make an application and we'll take it to Mengo. For the time being, you work in Mengo. I said, okay, because the children were young.
Rather than our government jobs. Now here, you switch and now you apply in Mengo. Did the Mengo frustrate you?
It didn't frustrate me at all. In fact, they received me very well.
So the moment you put your application, it's like they were waiting for you to come.
For me.
So you joined Mengo.
I joined Mengo.
As in the hospital.
In the hospital as a double trained nurse. So I was a nursing sister.
Didn't you mind the pay or their deviations? Now you have been in a government setting. Now you're switching to.
I think I need to thank God. Someone who never used to think so much about my money. I don't know why. when I was in Masaka, I don't know. I never used to think so much to compare and what. But I think what they gave me, I could do something. So I worked on Margaret Bond, Roy Billington. Those were female and male surgical and medical. I worked in Aniwalker West in private up there. And for mothers, then I was taken to antenatal clinic, General. And 1 month, I was requested to study for someone who had gone for leave in general outpatient. But when I was in antenatal clinic, the matron called me, said, Meryce, we can see you have got Mengo Hospital at heart. We are requesting you to go and do a tutorship course. Was the nursing school was already there? It was already there. Because it was among the, it was actually the first nursing school, So I said the management has decided that you go for a tutorship course. I want you to apply, and once you go through, we'll continue paying your salary, or we will sponsor you, even for research or even for transport. So in Mengo, I joined in 1989, December 1st. 1999. December that is 1st. When you enter Mengo Hospital. And then 1992, September, you joined Tutors College up to 94 in September. Tutors College. Tutors College. So, 1st December 1994, I joined Mengo School of Nursing. Now as a full tutor, not a clinical instructor anymore. So we've seen from Masaka to Mulago to the project clinic, then to Mengo Hospital, back to the tutorship, now to the School of Nursing. How did you find the nursing school? I really don't know, but I think... Did you miss the ward? But not by that time, because the way I had been prepared to teach. And it was not the first time to teach because I had ever taught in Masaka. I was
Even
looking
in
forward,
Mlando.
yes. I don't know. In my journey of this profession, I've always been looking forward
To teach.
serve.
To serve and to teach.
And I knew I had come to the school to teach, to make sure that my students understand what I because I was very much interested and I felt I was knowledgeable. So I felt the students had to learn what I know and even be better than me.
So many of us have learned about you or have known you when you were a principal. How did you get to the principal level?
Now.
And who was the principal that time when you joined in Mengo?
When by the time I joined, it was Sister Bukenya Mary who was the principal. And then I worked as a tutor from that time, 1st
From
December
1994.
1994. Then 1995, July, I was made a deputy principal.
In 95,
After 6 months,
you became a deputy principal.
deputy principal. In fact, I really feared. I really quivered. I should, because for me, I knew I'd come to teach,
not to do administrative
not to be in the administration. In fact, I had my prayer group. I said, please, can you help pray for me? Because for me, I knew I'd come to teach. Now they are putting me in administration. And the lady, was elderly. So most of the time I would be the one to come up here, work on things in accounts and what. But again, I was teaching. But some meetings I'd be the one to come when she would fail. Or if it was an urgent meeting they have called for her and she had not been prepared for it, said, some Meryce Mutyaba, go and attend the meeting, like that. So I learned from her, I was learning from her. And not even thinking that one day I would be a principal. Because I very much wanted to teach. And I didn't think of being a head of the school. Then when she retired, 2001 December, I was made to act.
You become acting principal.
So I acted as an acting principal for 6 months. Then in July 2002, I was appointed the principal.
But there you had grounded yourself.
But
I think you were fit to take up that role.
Let me tell you, for me, deep down, I thought, for me, my work was mainly to teach.
Thought you were young?
Not young, not to be an administrator. And I very much wanted to be with students. And in fact, even when I became, I really asked other people to really pray for me. And I remember even a friend of mine told me later that if Meryce, for me, I knew you'd be a principal 1 year and then you'd leave. I didn't really see that you'd be a principal material. Because I think I was soft-spoken and because you're used to see people who are very tough doing that work. So
you thought principals would be tough, and actually from my interaction with your students, because as I told you, we are organizing this with the association of the old students of Mlago. They have confessed to me as they see a mother figure in you. Your love for students is very exceptional. For those who have gone from Mengo and gone to other schools, they have not met a person like you. So they asked me to ask you what has made you exceptional, have exceptional love and attachment for your students for all the time you've taught. Because for most especially those who have moved from Mengo and have gone out to other places, they have felt to find a person like you. What draws that attention? Is it the childhood love that you got from the parents?
Our parents loved us very much. Maybe when we were few. And then also in school, People loved us so much because we were twins and we moved together everywhere we went. So I think we grew
Were you
up
only
in
two?
love. We were three with our brother, but unfortunately, in fact, as we talk now, I'm the only one remaining.
Oh, sorry.
But I think from that, I love the profession so much. Yes, I've loved my nursing profession. Nobody could convince me to do anything. In fact, before we joined, someone said, and he was a big person. He said, no, I'm a secretary. You do it for 1 year and then you start work. And you get your money. I said, no, for me, I want nursing. And what also I had, I very much wanted nurses to learn and to be very good nurses. And I just love being with the nurses.
So speaking about that, what is your message for us, the tutors? How can we best improve the training for our students, but also show them that we support them, we love them, we support them to train, and give them the best that they can benefit from?
I think first of all, I think you should love what you are doing, so that even the people just see you without talking that you love what you are doing. The way, first of all, you should have professionalism. I loved my uniform. That's the first thing. And I was always very smart up to the time of retirement. That's what I could confess. And I wanted to do exactly as I was supposed to do, be on time at work, be on time in class, and then also make my students love what I love, because I love God. I used to make sure we first pray, sing a song, continue. Always talking to them like a mother, because I wanted them to be very successful in life. If they don't love God and they read God's word and pray, even if they do these other things, they may not be successful. And I would really show them how I love my profession, how I was in nursing, what I used to do when I was a student, to make them laugh. And I just love, whenever, just being with students made me feel very happy. And I remember at even the time, the day I would have taught in school when I was doing administration, I felt more satisfied with the day I would have taught than the days I would not teach. Because I passed on what I knew, or I motivated them to learn much better. I just loved them. They were in our hands, and I felt we had to give them the best. Yes, because also we're given the best. Our tutors loved us. But when we were working on the wards, those staff nurses on the ward, they loved us and they were very hardworking. So there is no way you could do something different. No.
So talking about the nursing profession, because most especially I'm going to bias you on the side of education, because you've been there for most of your time, whether on ward, whether in class, you've been so much in nursing education. Where do you see the training of nurses in the future compared to where we came from, where we are, and where we are going? In your view, what do you think? Is there anything we are doing right? Is there anything we can improve? What do you think?
Yeah, there is a lot of work going on in the schools. Teachers are teaching. But what I think where we have gone, maybe because the population has really increased, doubled and tripled and did what? So there are many students in the schools. And with the number of tutors they have, student-tutor ratio, the tutors are overwhelmed. They don't give them enough as you would give your few students. I remember when I first started working in Mengo, we could have something like 20 students. whereby you knew all of them, their strengths and
By name
weaknesses.
and
By names, I knew all their names. I knew who was weak. I
which
could
is not possible
help out
today.
someone who was weak, and those people were willing to come and they do tests. I mark them, and then you see someone who has been weak, but in the examinations he passes. But these days it's very difficult to follow up those ones.
Individual students.
Individual students who are weak. And you may find that if you don't work hard, because remember, when students join the training, not everybody is highly motivated.
True.
There are those who come when they really love what they are doing.
There are those who have
and
been
there are
pushed
those
by
who
the
have been
parents to
pushed
come.
by the parents. So those ones, if nobody is there to support them, you find that even when they qualify, they don't have any interest in serving. It's like as if it's a punishment. Because I remember one time, we had a student, when he finished, it was a boy, but his sister had been in our school and had completed and had gone out in UK. So they bring in this boy to study nursing. Now, that boy, when he finished the introductory exams, we posted him to eye clinic. That very first week he started working there, they reported him that he was missing duty. So I called the parent, I talked to her, and then afterwards they went. Then the results came out, and he had only passed one subject, which was anatomy at 50. Others, he had failed, 20, 30, like that. Then we called the parents, we showed them. Then afterwards, the boy came and said, "Sister, can I see you?" Then he came in. Said, "Sister, I want to talk to you. For me, I've never been interested in nursing course. I don't want to remain here, and I request you, when my parents come, tell them that there's no place for me here." You see, the boy never waited.
Such a case has happened to me personally. So I want to hear how you did it.
So before I could even write a letter, the boy just escaped.
At least mine didn't escape.
And afterwards, even others came and they said, "I don't want." So parents could force them, "I don't want." So others just fear to come up, but they are there who are not interested. And there are very many, and you can't go to each and every one.
So it's your duty as a teacher to boost their morale, to make them love what they are doing, to understand that now they are here.
Talk to them, because I've talked to students whenever I would get a chance, even if I'm not supposed to be teaching, but I hear something, I just went to the class, talk to them, follow them on the wards to see what they are doing, to make them love what they are doing. Yes, because I felt that was the main work.
So what were your best moments as a principal of Mengo? Best moments, one that you cannot forget, one that really made you happy.
I have enjoyed the picnics with our students. You know, whenever our students are going to do final exams, they arrange for picnics and they invite us, the tutors and the principals.
What do you enjoy there?
Because the students are free, we are free. They show their talents, whatever. We eat, we drink, and that day there is no business to teach a student, you know.
So, students of Mengo, old students of Mengo, she's saying she enjoys your picnics. You should think about organizing one. And I believe we are going to have an exciting one on Linza Beach on 2nd November. We should be free so that she enjoys that moment again.
And the years I've been there, if I have missed, I could have missed about 1 or 2. But I've attended all of them. And remember, it used to be June and July and December. So I have enjoyed their what?
Their picnics.
Their picnics.
Well, that's great.
Yes, and maybe what else can I say? Of course, I've enjoyed my teaching. Yes, whenever I go to class and I feel the students have learned, I really feel great.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you've talked to the teachers. Now, let us talk to the principals. You've been in a structured institution, a grounded institution. Actually, Mengo was the first nursing school in the country. So you found a system that was very structured, clear guidelines, everything, policies. There's a name to protect, a name of the institution to protect. But that's not the case for many of us who have worked as principals in various institutions, most especially the private institutions. Things are done completely differently. What advice do you give the principals on how they can maintain the professionalism even amidst the different circumstances, most especially the interactions with the directors, fitting their professional interests in those of the directors, because you find a director with a completely different interest and the profession or the professional bodies demand something different. You as a person, you also want something different. What advice do you give such principals in such a state?
The most important thing, it's my prayer that every principal should have in mind that has been posted to love and serve. Because when we are given those responsibilities, we are there to serve. And when you are a servant, you don't expect to be served. And you know, some people think that when I'm principal, I'm a big
boss,
person, I'm a boss. No, you're a servant.
True.
And things have got to move because of you. Of course, with God being there to guide you, to lead you. We need to really ask God that to guide us, read His word, pray. Because there's a lot. Because you are going to be answerable for each and everything that happens in the school. That's what I learned. You are answerable.
Not the director, not anyone, but you, the principal.
In fact, that's what I was telling my bosses and whatnot. But you know what? If there's anything,
it's me they are going to call.
It is me, the principal, they will call. They won't call the director or the medical director. No. Even the administrator is the principal. So we have to put this and this and this in place. You must be ready to serve and you must be available. You know, sometimes some principals may think because they are posting the card. But you have to be available. That's the most important thing. So that you can prevent anything bad that would have happened. That one, God put it to me. I had to be available to know what is going. There's anything that I hear
that's happening. Moonlighted in all your career.
Not at all. Not a single day. Not a single day. And I felt I had to work faithfully because I've been assigned. So I used to work Monday to Friday. Even some Saturdays come and do some work, reports. There's time when it was busy, especially with development partners, they wanted reports and what. And then we were PNFP health training institutions. We used to have PNFP technical workshops. And so they demanded us to write reports, analytical reports, what. So there was a lot to do. You would find that you only had like Saturday to come and be alone in the office and do that. And you have got to be faithful, you know, not to have anything that they can. Because even the staff, they won't trust you, they won't respect you if they see that there's something bad in you. And do what you're meant to do. Follow the rules and regulations of the school, you know, and then follow what Ministry of Education wants, the UNIMEB wants. You will get there. Yes.
So your students know you as a very good timekeeper. They know you as a very strict lady. They know you as a very committed lady. How have you been able to uphold such values yet you have a very strong family background, a very strong family. You've also held a very strong family tie with your husband and your children, and also served the church. How have you been able to do it? Because it's a challenge for many of the ladies today, balancing family, work, church, and personal life.
I can say that is all by God's grace. It's by God's grace.
Do you also realize it's not easy?
No, but it's God's grace. It's God who guides you. Otherwise, on your own, you cannot manage. First of all, I knew I was married. Yes, I had to fulfill the duties of the family. My husband, of course, you know that. I have to care for him. I've had to care for the children until when they grow up.
Well, you didn't tell us, how many children do you have?
I delivered 4, and they're all married, and they have children.
So you're having grandchildren.
Yes. So it is God who helps you to balance, and also to attend church service, because we would go together to the church. We go for Christian fellowship meetings every Friday evening at 5 p.m. at Namiebe Cathedral here. So you find that, and the good thing is that when you do things together, they can move, because I've been supported by my husband, because he has always been bringing me for work.
He drops
and because I stay full time there, I didn't need a car to be with it. So he would drop me, go and work. In the evening, come and pick me. I would say, now I'm ready, or I'm not yet ready. Whatever time I mention, he comes and picks me. And of course, once I go home, I have got to serve him and he prepare things for the food, whatever, the family. When I would be having teaching, sometimes I would be like even preparing sauce. As then in between I look at the notes, I do try to see what I'm going to teach, like that. Especially when I had just started teaching, I had a lot to teach. I had to teach every day, from the time I report up to evening. And I think I could have one lecture hour free. But so I could try to get all things. Even if I go to the salon, I go with my notes or marking papers, because you don't waste time. In fact, afterwards, I was taught in management that you must learn to block time, blocking time. That the time you are a bit free, use it for something useful. So whenever I go to the salon, I go with my papers if I have to mark. So I'm in a dryer, then again,
you're marking.
I'm looking at my notes, like that, because there wouldn't be enough time. And then I'm a church warden. I attend the 7 o'clock service, and I've been a church warden since 2014. So I work in the church, collect, when we are giving offerings, counting money, bring people when they're going for Holy Communion, those things. Yes. Because I want to serve God when I'm still able.
The worst moments as principal.
The worst moments?
As a principal.
That
one moment where you're like, that day, it really disturbed me.
And there have been many, like I think when there would be, for example, indiscipline. I think if I hear of something that has happened, that's when I think, like one time, there were some students who went to Chambogo University, that there was a night, what do they call it?
Night dance?
No, they were Christians.
Fellowship? Crusade? Overnight. Yes.
So they went. Even the warden asked, where are you going? They just entered the bus. They went. They came back, I think in the morning. So when they told me, I called them, I called their parents. And I just decided on my own
That they
said
should
they
go.
must become non-residents for a month.
Mm.
Now, it was too much. Because I said, now what if they shot
Anything.
them on the way? What if anything?
What if
Who
an
would have been
accident?
called to answer? It was too much for me. I did what? I had to give them a punishment.
Being
1 month
non-residents.
non-residents. I called the parents and take them away. That day was just too bad. People couldn't believe.
We are coming to the end. We want to look at retirement. How are you finding your retirement?
My retirement now, because, you know, at first, in Mengo, they were retiring at 65. I went beyond 65. They could tell me, sister, continue, sister, continue, sister, continue. Then in 2022, that's when I knew I was supposed to retire.
You knew?
They had told me that I was going to retire. So I knew I was going to do what? To retire. But then they said, we'll tell you. I continued working. Then 2023 came. I said, but now again, you will communicate. Then I kept on asking until last year. I think it was something like October. They told me, no, you'll retire in May 2024. I said, oh, God. So I was being prepared to retire because I could see I had served for long. And of course, you can't be as strong as you used to be. Because the other time you could run this
meetings,
way, that way.
Cases, they are looking for you. Maybe is calling, council is calling, partners are calling.
May God is faithful. So when it came, I was looking forward to it. So let me retire and maybe see what next. So I tried, not because I had learned a lot of things. No, I knew God would help me. There is a way He would help me. So, and I felt, I think there was time also to have a transition when you are moving out, and those first months to be home and do different things. That's what. Of course, you know, as money can't always be there, but God can help you. We have some few rentals, so which can bring here and there something. So at least there is something, and then sometimes when it's time for coffee, we can pick and get.
So you're a farmer. You do farming.
Yes.
You do farming in around Namire?
No, it is at Namtamba. Our place, it is not for that.
Okay.
You have, but we have another home at Namtamba, a country home, where we have our gardens. We have coffee, namatoke, and some few cows, and we go there, do some work, and then
pick what to eat,
bogoya, obundizi, amatoke. Twarundako n'embizi, about time came nezijjamu something netulekerawo. Naye nga meanwhile, because I've been called like women, they want me to teach them something medical. I prepare something like Christian women. There are some conference, a Christian women conference. So I feel now at least I'm not tied up. Because they could invite me for things. I never have to be at work. I have to be. We have a meeting. We have this. But now at least
we can get you as whenever we want.
So if you ask me to prepare something to teach,
you have now time to do
I can prepare and teach, and I enjoy presenting something.
So, are you thinking in the line of beginning consultancy work,
Because sometimes not really as such, but if I'm called upon,
you can take it up.
I can take it up and teach, for example, where they want me to teach, to present something to do with our medical profession, nursing profession. I feel I am into that. Or when they call me, like recently, they called me at UNIMEB to do some work there recently, and I did. And one time for marking, I went for marking. My area, my profession, but not to start a school or a clinic, which keeps me there. I want to be available. Yesterday I went for a mission. I went to Rock Junior School. I was very happy to talk to those
young souls.
I was very, very happy. I was 70 years to us. This one to us for Kampala. I went for her party, then I went to the function meeting. So I feel good after that. And then I knew today I would be with you. So and then tomorrow we have a convention for the whole day at Namibia Cathedral. There will be a Christian convention for the whole day. Yes.
Okay. I have two other questions. One is on parenting. You said you have four children. What advice, what have you learned? Because there's no philosophy of parenting that works or applies to all of us. But as a busy mother, as a committed servant, what have you learned along your journey of parenting specifically that you can share with the viewers on how to raise children and support them in the way of the Lord? Mostly nurturing values. Now that you are ever away from them, you're at work, you're not a housewife that you're going to keep policing them. What have you learned and what can you think can be done?
What I have learned as a God-fearing lady, when you have also your husband who supports you, of course you have got to pray together with them, like in the evening or in the morning when it is possible. And you must go to church with them from the time they are still very young. Never leave them at home. Go with them to church. Never leave them. There's one time when my son, one of my sons had finished university. I think had finished university. And then he gave me a lift to the church and left me there. So when afterwards he was going to another church, then I said, but I really thank God. I've never told you to go to church. But I just found yourselves going to church. Every Sunday you go to church, and I've never. They said, but mommy, how can we miss going to church? You know, I've never seen you missing church. That day I was surprised. You know what? So these children see us what we do.
And they copy from that.
They copy from us because there is no day when I would. And I think the day when I missed church, Baba had been operated. But before that, all the time, maybe after delivery, but church had to be there. Yes? So the children must see what you do.
And
not only you don't speak.
You should act.
You should act.
So that they copy from what
they copy
your
from
actions.
You. So I thank God that they always go to church with their families now, you know. We don't force them, we don't tell them anything, but they go to church. And God also helped them. Maybe they saw what was happening at home and also from the schools they have gone through. And God has helped them and they accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior. So I think God has helped them. It is God.
Okay, thank you. Finally, how do you want to be remembered by the profession?
But maybe what I didn't tell you. I thank God for what I've gone through because in my profession, I've moved a lot to many areas in the country because of exams, because of principals' conferences, yes, different meetings. And I was also representing UPMB HTIs on the executive of Principals Association. Yes, for 15 years. So I moved a lot. Then I was also a board member on the UNIMEB board, representing UPMB HTIs. I was first a member in the first 3 years when the board was formed in 2006. And I came out in 2009. And then again they put me back 2015, 16. And then for another 6 years I came out. So I've been blessed to be on the examination board, and I've learned a lot. To be on the Principals Association executive, I've been blessed a lot. I've had a lot of exposure. We even went to UK, Oxford University, for a conference on assessment. And then I want to thank God that I've attended very many meetings in the hospital here. Hospital management team meetings, board meetings. I've attended Uganda, UPMB, health training, technical workshops. They used to call us for technical workshops. Okay? I have examined students, I've marked students, no? I've done a lot, I have learned a lot through what
the
I've
exposures,
done. Even if I didn't go for masters, but I think I'm really equipped. I can say.
You've learned by experience. You've learned at work.
I've learned a lot. And I did my internship. I delayed to do my internship after. I didn't continue. I did my bachelor's degree in education at Makerere University, majoring in education administration and curriculum development. That was 2001, December, before I became a principal, to 2004 December. Then I did my bachelor's in nursing, 2008 to 2010. I wanted to do my master's later, but there's one I got problems, especially when my twin sister passed on. And then, of course, think about the children there, and then I had to do internship, but there were a lot of things that I couldn't do internship, and I wanted to do internship first. I did my internship later in 2019. It's okay, please. 2019. September up 2020. You can see at Rubaga Hospital.
How did you
I
find
worked on different. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working.
Were you there?
I was there full time. And I enjoyed that was during the COVID time. So I worked in there's no ward that I don't know in Rubaga. And I enjoyed the work, and the experiences because of new things that have come up, and I'm from a different hospital. I was so happy.
Okay, to my question. How do you want the profession? Okay, how do you want to be remembered? Let me introduce it to the profession. How do you want to be generally remembered? A person of what character? Yes. It's always a hard question. That's why it comes always last. How do you want to be remembered?
Maybe I can say a person who has had passion for her nursing profession. I've done it with passion. And I could never think about anything else. Looking forward to and perfecting what I was doing. Yes, I've loved it, and nobody could even divert me from what I was doing. So I really thank God. I think I've served with passion. That's what I know.
And thank you so much. So So thank you so much, Mrs. Mutyaba, for giving us this time to share with us your life journey. I know we cannot finish everything, but for the limitations of time, we have to end here. Thank you so much for sparing time. Thank you for serving the profession diligently. Thank you for being committed. Us who have been seeing you from the background, we have been admiring you. We have been, you've been our role model.
For 48 years.
Yes, and at least me and those that I've interacted with, we have been admiring the work you're doing. We like your principles, and we look forward to emulating what
Maybe
the kind
another
of
thing I
person you are.
didn't add on, you must love the people you work with. It makes life easier. I've loved my staffs I work with, and that made my life easier.
So
I love the students. I love the
staff
I
and
with.
the students. At least they have said it. At least the students have said it.
That one, I'm sure. Even in the hospital where I work, and you know, many of the staff, the PNOs, that they have been.
You've been really friendly to them. Any final remarks?
It's my prayer that our nursing profession moves from one level to a higher level. And I encourage all the nurses to remember their nurses' anthem, that they were called to love and serve. So whatever one does, please do it knowing that you are serving God and His people. And the Lord is faithful. He will bless you. Thank you very much.
Mugunzi, Anasiti,